أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. Allah give us refuge from the outcast Shaitan. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. Why did I start out this way? Because I believe that in all the midst of me trying to help people, trying to help them see what is already happening, the revolution that is going on across the world, I have lost track of the bigger focus, which is Islam. Now, why is Islam the bigger focus? Because Islam does have the solution, even if you don't believe in it. If you don't believe in the Quran, if you don't believe in God, Islam still has the solution. It doesn't require you believe. What am I talking about? I'm talking about equity. Now, Merriam-Webster defines equity as the quality of being fair or impartial. In Islam, they teach the rights of God, the rights of creation. For our purposes here, we'll talk about rights of creation. As part of rights of creation, every man has the right to fair wage. It's the right to not be cheated. The poor has a right to not be taken advantage of by the rich. These are the very things that they are fighting for in the revolution. Women have right to not be treated like property, to not just be used and discarded, because although they are different, they are equal. They deserve to be treated fairly. Same thing with animals. We, as in Islam, believe that human beings are the caretakers, if you will, of Earth. We are supposed to take care of the creation within it. That is our duty. On top of course, worshiping God, Allah. This is the real point. And this is a point that I tried to bring in my last promotion. Obviously, I was not very clear with it because Rachel just totally skipped all over it. Now, I don't know if she's hard of hearing, she had trouble understanding because her intellect cannot reach that level. I don't know. I suspect it's neither. I suspect that she's in denial because she doesn't want to face the fact that she's trying to say and trying to prove that she can be the same as a man. She's trying to place herself on the same level as a man. And while women deserve to be treated fairly, they are not the same as men. And there is nothing wrong with that. This idea of equal, if you look in terms of math, equal means, okay, let's look at the most common one. 2 plus 2 equals 4. Vice versa, 4 equals 2 plus 2, or 3 plus 1. Men are not equal to women, or vice versa. We are different. It is time we stop saying that, oh, I'm colorblind, I don't care about gender, all of this stuff, because we are different. We were made different. We came out different, whichever way you want to state it. And there is nothing wrong with that. But Rachel refuses to accept this. She refuses to look at what society has forced her into. Now, when she chooses to face this, then she can truly be a competitor. Because, and another fact that she chose to ignore, rather conveniently, was the competition that she was set up against. Because the company wants to push this idea of, women being the same as men. They pushed her up against competition, but and she won. I mean, she dominated. She said it herself. She is the Tommy Dreamer of ASE. Lame. Rachel, I have no doubt that you have talent. But, as I said the last time, you can yammer about how many titles you held, how long you were in the Fed, blah 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 blah. I faced everyone you faced, and I beat them. I faced Eric, and I beat him, the one that you did not beat. And no matter which way Eric wants to slice it, he has never beaten me 1-on-1. It's not happened. And now that I have addressed that, we move on to Eric. Eric wants to talk about the past. He wants to talk about what I did in the past, how I was in the past, yada yada yada. First of all, a lot of the times, I ain't the one that turned on the group. There were issues backstage, and Eric knows this. But he chooses to twist things around for his own purpose. However, having said that, let me say this. Eric, you should know better than anyone that people can change. People do not stay the same. We are a dynamic creature. Human beings change from minute to minute, from day to day. And you above all should know this because of how many times you've changed. Or do we want to go back into the society of destruction and the things that you did and said, the ways that you were? See, I don't go down that path anymore. I don't bring up the past because distant past belongs in the distant past. What I brought up before was not distant past. Because contrary to what you might think, I'm not that man. Not anymore. I don't just randomly turn on people. I'm not like that. If I'm gonna turn on someone and they don't know it, they weren't paying attention. Now, as for me and you heard what I just said to Rachel. 1-on-1, you have never beat me. As for the incident in the ring, you want to talk about my training with Sickle, I'll do whatever it takes. I will never, ever turn on family. Even if you go back in my past, my distant past, never, out of all the stuff I did I ever use someone else to beat family outside or inside of a ring. Never. But I guess I have standards like that. See, unlike you, I didn't become Sickle's little puppet just because he trained me. I was trained by more than one person. And then I went out and sought out more training. And more training. And when I couldn't find training from people, I went and trained myself. You don't know me, Eric. You think you do, but you don't. Now, you want to talk about how much you've done. You want to keep bringing up your fucking wrestling school. You pay real close attention. While you were busy building wrestling schools, 19-year-old kid was shot in Ferguson, Missouri. Yeah, I guess that don't matter. How about the Mexican dude that was hospitalized? Yeah, because of the militarization of police. How did your wrestling school help that? How did your wrestling school help the ongoing drought that conveniently seems to only be happening in areas that have majority Latino population in California? I guess we forgot to mention that part, huh? How has your wrestling school managed to help the ongoing and increasing violence in Chicago under Rahm Emanuel? I guess just forgot to bring that up, right? Face it, you have done nothing. You have done nothing for the overall cause. I'm not saying that you haven't helped people. Don't get it twisted. But when it comes to the global revolution that is going on, to the equity, the fight for equity, you have done nothing. You have done nothing to try and help the overall state, the overall condition of people in this country. Hell, you haven't even done anything to help people in Mexico. Nothing. What has your wrestling school done to help the people that are being put out on the street by corrupt bankers? Go ahead. Tell me you haven't seen them. You want to talk about the Obamacare program? How does your wrestling school help those people that you had to turn down? How did it help them? And then both of you and Rachel, want to talk about how much of a dominant force you are in ASC. What happened when I came to the scene? What happened? One body after another. Same thing. Tap out. 1, 2, 3. Over. And overall, Eric, you said it yourself. The reason I have not held more titles was because of backstage drama. Even here in ASC we had a moment of strife because Charles didn't like what I had to say about the international banking system. He didn't want me to come after the Zionists that continue to twist things around so that they can justify killing children by the hundreds in Palestine. The Zionists that conveniently are able to remain the most dominant lobby group in the U.S. and ignore the bombing of USS Liberty, claiming that it was just an accident. Well, if you look at the records, it was just an accident. Meanwhile, everyone that was on board, that is still alive to this day, continually says it was no accident. They knew it was an American ship. How about asking the girl that was bulldozed, the American girl that was bulldozed in Palestine by Israeli forces because she was trying to stand up for a homeless family against Israeli soldiers? Nothing. Point being, you yourself said it, Eric. I should have already have been champion several times. But there was constant drama pulling me away from each Fed. Always constant drama. ASC, I finally found a place. And if you think I'm going to be shoved aside, you're wrong. Not because of me, though. See, I'm not like you, Eric. I'm not like Rachel. It's not about the gold. It's not about the title. It's not about the ego. The gold is a means to an end. The means to finally get people's attention, because the only thing that people pay attention to these days is bread and games, as they used to call it. I'm not going to go into the Latin. In ancient Rome, as the Roman civilization was falling apart, they decided the best way to appease the population was to keep them entertained and fed. Sound familiar? Now, the entertainment is televised. YouTube, music. They give them what they want. They keep them jumping through hoops watching kiddie videos. Watching sports. Playing video games. To keep them away from the real issues. Because they know if the people see the real issues, then there will be an uprising. The problem is, with the information age, they just can't stop it. They cannot stop the revolution that is coming. And neither can you. Now, in Islam, we believe in both fate and free will. We do not believe that they contrast with each other, not even a little bit. Rather, we believe that they coincide. Fate has its course. There are things that are going to happen regardless, but you have free will within fate. And your free will determines which direction you will go according to the things that are already predestined. I've already told you that the revolution is coming. I told you that Rachel is going to see the cerebral eclipse. But maybe I left out something. See, in Islam we believe that nothing happens in this world unless Allah wills it. And if Allah wills for something to not happen, then nothing can change its course. Having said that, let me say this. I can assure you, without a doubt, that when it comes to this match, it has already been decided. And nothing that you say or even do is going to change that.